Is this the one? Is this the video?
Hello, this is probably the final.
Holy f, it's 1 hour long. Is this the one? Here, response to pirate software.
Okay, I really don't want to do this next part, but it's become a liability for the campaign for me not to. Our biggest critic by far is YouTuber and streamer Pirate Software, who
Peace and
goes by
follows, you guys.
Thor.
Thank you.
If your only exposure to Stop Killing Games has been this video, then you've been misinformed. This video is by someone who does not understand the campaign, has been trying to stop it, and has been making up what it is about.
Okay.
I am not saying that lightly. I will prove it in a minute.
Okay.
Now you might be thinking, okay, so some YouTuber got something wrong on the internet. So what? See, that was my thinking too. The problem is how incredibly influential this YouTuber has been.
Yeah, like that makes sense. Basically, like they're called influencers for a reason.
Remember that
There's a reason why freaking Democrats are trying to pay like streamers to like do shit for them.
list of coverage on the campaign?
And Republicans too.
Well, best I can tell, Thor's coverage has been bigger than literally anyone else on those lists, except Asmongold. And the only video Asmongold had on this bigger than Thor's was about Thor's video. So for all practical purposes, Thor here has been the #1 voice on the campaign, and he's been lying about what it is.
Okay.
That's a bit loaded, though. In this case, I'm using the second definition of lie. I have no evidence it's the first. This video came out right as we... I have no evidence it's the first. This video came out right as we were building momentum, then except for one boost in Germany, the signatures started drying up like clockwork. This put me in kind of a no-win scenario, too. Because if I ignored it, then a lot of people are going to get misinformed about the campaign. But if I did a response video, which is not something I wanted to do anyway, then it might look like drama farming, which could understandably turn off a lot of people from the campaign, because it's not about that at all. So I quickly made this video trying to clear up all misconceptions and concerns about the initiative with timestamps for everyone's questions, hoping the truth would eventually come out.
Okay.
I can see now that was a mistake. I should have just embraced the drama. To this day, I'm still getting frequent comments and emails about the same falsehoods about the campaign that originated in this video. Well, now I have nothing to lose. If we don't get the signatures, then none of this matters anyway. So if this campaign is failing because of me not talking about this, then I'll at least correct history here on the way down.
All right.
I'll get this over with and go over what I think are the biggest points of Pirate Software's videos. I'm not going to go over everything because collectively Thor has made hours of video on both me and the movement.
Fuck.
I'd be here forever. Believe me, I could address smaller things too, and kind of already have. All right, let's start. Okay, point number 1. Thor does not understand what Stop Killing Games is. Here it is in his words.
So for those who don't understand, the Stop Killing Games initiatives is basically, we don't want single-player games to have DRM that the developers can turn off and thus render the single-player games inactive anymore. This is what they want to change. They need to be specific that they're talking about single-player games that do not need a server to support them.
No.
I see. So like basically what he's saying is that like this isn't about single player games. So like I think that's what he's saying basically. Ross, is that his name, Ross? He's basically saying like this has nothing to do with single player games. We intended to like target like a broader like reach of games, which like I agree with, honestly. Like I'm gonna be real. I think it's only fair that multiplayer games also receive the same treatment. I don't see why there's some kind of specialty like clause that like some specialty property that like single player games should have that multiplayer games don't have. I don't really agree with that. That being said, that it's still that criteria would still include like single player games, like I said before.
As much as they want it to be about specifically games where it is a single player game that has always online functionality, it would impact every live service game that exists. Instead of just targeting.
That's true though. It would.
Single player.
So basically like I guess the argument is that Thor thinks that it's only single player games that he wants. Basically shut off the connection from the consumer to like the publisher server requirement and remove that requirement. That's what Pirate Software is trying to say here.
Always online games.
No, that's not what it is. Stop Killing Games includes single-player games, but nothing about it is specific to them. He completely made that up, and I have no idea where he got that impression. This is what I mean. It's harder for gamers to understand this because they come with so many assumptions. It's like that saying about doctors being the worst patients. So let's clear this up.
Okay.
It's the first line on the website. Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games they have sold to customers.
Okay.
But the movement includes all this stuff from earlier, and he was mostly
Okay. All right.
talking about the initiative. Well, the short version is the initiative is about requiring publishers to have end-of-life plans for games they've sold to customers in the future. So when they shut them down, customers can continue running them without their support.
And this is what I thought he said. This is exactly what I thought that Stop Killing Games was about. This was my understanding of it. Like literally like a verbatim of this. So all the stuff I said about Stop Killing Games was not misunderstood, actually.
The long version depends on what kind of transaction is being made. As you can see, it's not easy to explain in a soundbite. But if you notice, we don't make a distinction between single-player and multiplayer games.
Good.
That's because the law doesn't either. So why make this even harder? Both the movement and the law are making distinctions on how games are sold. Also, that part he said about it affecting all live service games? Yes and no. It would affect most live service games in the future.
So you mean like me being for this isn't even going to get me Dragalia Lost back? Who even cares then? Who even cares? What's the point?
But the initiative is not retroactive. So that's one thing Thor doesn't understand, but he also seems to think this is about converting multiplayer games to single player. Once again, he made that up, and I have no idea why he thought that.
Can I hear it?
Transitioning an entire multiplayer server-side game into a single-player video game, which means rebalancing the entire experience around single player, rebuilding everything in the entire game. How are you going to do that with Final Fantasy XIV? You're just going to make all the raids soloable?
Okay, I see. This part is kind of wrong. What Pirate Software is saying, this is kind of an assumption, because I would have assumed that what he means by multiplayer games being playable is that there is the access of a either peer-to-peer or a like server software that you can run and connect to. That's what I assumed it was.
Imagine the day that World of Warcraft shuts down and suddenly you have to make it a single player game for every individual that ever bought the game. That's what they're asking for.
No.
Because they would have to sunset live service games as a single player experience.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that suddenly you need to make every single live service.
So the thing is like what he's saying, like what Thor's saying, it would fulfill the requirement of the law, but it isn't the only way to fulfill the. Do you see what I'm saying? Like he's saying that that's the only way to fulfill the requirement of Stop Killing Games, but it's not actually, because you can also provide here's some examples. You could provide the software to a third-party archive that would is allowed to profit off of hosting the servers. But like at least one company should have the server hosted at some time. Otherwise, another way you could do it is peer-to-peer. Another way you could do it is just by releasing the software so anyone can make a private server. There's like multiple ways you could go about doing it.
Service game, playable single player offline? No, dude.
Correct. No. This one is particularly baffling.
Yeah, this one confuses me too, actually. But it does make sense though, under the misconception that Pirate Software had in the beginning, right? So like this line of logic like matches the original assumption that Pirate Software made, right? So you can kind of track that logic there.
To me, because I've heard most counter arguments before, but until Thor, I've never heard this one. That we want the industry to convert all multiplayer games into single player ones. I keep saying it, you never know where gamers are going to take this.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's directly targeting always online single player games.
Oh, he's so close. He's so close to getting it.
It is vague, and because of that, it will impact.
He never has that light bulb moment. Well, he is correct in that statement. It's almost as if that's not what the initiative is asking for.
Mm-hmm.
But those were his streams with a smaller audience. What does he say in his big YouTube video with over 1 million views that he had time to research?
If we're trying to kill off the practice of developers putting together a live service game, pitching it as a single player experience, and then taking away support in the future.
Wait, what?
Pitching it as a practice of developers putting together a live service game, pitching it as a practice
Hold on.
of
News that he had time to research.
putting together a. If we're trying to kill off the practice of developers putting together a live service game,
Okay.
pitching it as a single player experience, and then taking away support in the future.
Okay, so he's basically like still on the same track as like his original assumption, basically. Okay.
Now he's changed it again, and it's
The funny thing, okay, here's the thing that's kind of like breaks my brain a little bit is that this point that like Thor is making, this is the exact like this is like the most egregious version of what he's talking about. Like them cutting off single player access to a game that has single and multiplayer is like the most egregious thing that like a game company can do. What do I mean by that? Thank you for the bits, Mrs. Blackfire. Thank you. I don't understand how I can get it so wrong with this petition, but he doesn't understand. Okay. So what I'm saying, hold on. What I'm saying is like that's the worst version of it is when it's a single player game. However, it has light multiplayer features. Like a good example of this would be like Ghost Recon. Like you could play it like single player, but you can play it online. And then what happens is when the game like service shuts down, they also shut it down so you can't play the single player version anymore. That's literally the worst version of like what game companies could do. And like honestly, like fuck them in the ass for that. You know what I mean? Like companies that do that, like to be honest, fuck them. Right. And so like he's basically talking about that, and like that's literally the worst one that they do.
making up how it's about single player games are advertised. What is he doing?
It needs to be specific about the business practice it's trying to defeat,
That's
which
true,
is
though.
specifically companies that are doing this under the guise of it being a single player game, but adding online only functionality that is not necessary.
I see. So like he's basically Pirate Software is fixated on it being targeting that specific like thing that I talked about. Targeting the most egregious case, but what Ross is saying is that it's all games. It has nothing to it does include the most egregious case, but also includes lighter cases. Thank you for the bits, Mrs. Blackfile. Thank you. You have signed the petition. I hope that I will finally be able to make it so Ubisoft can no longer remove your. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with that.
And doesn't add any gameplay.
Thank you for the
elements.
bits. Thank you.
That's the problem.
No, that's not it at all.
And there are some people that'll say, well, just make it all single player.
Like
well,
you?
I've explained that doesn't make any sense in the first place. If you're making it all single player, you'd have to carve off all of that, and it's developer time and money. These are two different ideologies, and that's okay to have two different ideologies. I just won't agree with it.
But those aren't the ideologies. Nothing in the initiative is asking to convert games to single player.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's directly targeting always online single player games.
Yeah, so why does he keep bringing it up? This is a total red herring.
If we don't like the idea of live service games as a whole, I get it. Don't play live service games then. Don't agree to those terms.
No.
Wait,
As a
what?
whole,
This is a total red herring.
if we don't like the idea of live service games as a whole, I get it. Don't play live service games then. Don't agree to those terms.
No, he's getting a new thing wrong now.
Mhm.
We're not against them existing. We're against them being destroyed with no recourse for the customer.
Okay,
Just
I agree
use
with Ross on
logic.
this one.
If we didn't
Yep.
like them in the first place, why would we care if they're being destroyed?
Because so one thing that his name's Ross, right? One thing that he said basically earlier is that this isn't just about like the inability to play the game for entertainment reasons, it's also for artistic reasons. So like understanding that motive, it makes sense that like it wouldn't matter, right? Like he doesn't want the game to be unplayable, like regardless.
He says he gets it, but he doesn't.
Let's talk about the actual bad business practices. In the case that a studio is making a live service game and they sell it to you as a product.
Uh-huh.
They say that you are purchasing the game or you are buying the game, when in reality, you're actually purchasing or buying a license to that game. I think that we should be fighting about that. The initiative is not trying to call that out specifically. It's trying to say that all games need to stay in a functional, playable state.
Yes!
Which is not calling out the language that is being used to manipulate the player.
Wait. The problem with that, like, I'm making a couple assumptions here, but if this is his point, the problem with that is that if the language is what you're targeting, right? It's not the practice, but the language, the quote unquote deceptive language that you're bothered by. Here's what's gonna happen. Game companies are from now on gonna say, yeah, when you buy our game, you're not buying a game. You're buying a license. That's it. Period. Right? And then that doesn't solve anything about game preservation. It literally doesn't solve it. Which is what Ross wants, is the game preservation aspect. It does not affect it at all.
Call that out specifically.
Okay, I don't know if he's doing this intentionally. I'll be charitable.
They're having like a fucking they're having an issue of definitions. These two. I feel like they're talking past each other.
And assume he's not. But this is some serious
It's kind of funny.
obfuscation. He's complaining that the initiative isn't focused on another topic he made up. I mean, what is that logic? Hey, the initiative doesn't...
No, but like, doesn't, like, am I wrong? Like, I swear, like, am I like high or something? I swear I saw a clip of Pirate Software talking about like how there's a logistics issue with like the IP. Did he talk about that? Or was that just something that like I thought he did and he didn't? Okay, so I think that part is right. That was my point. Is I was saying that part is right. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I could say that like he's wrong. Like Pirate Software is kind of wrong in these parts, and that he's misunderstanding like the actual initiative. Which is, by the way, what I thought the initiative was since the beginning. I did not misunderstand the initiative. I actually thought it included multiplayer games and everything, and it wasn't specifically about single player games. But I do think that Pirate's concerns, hopefully we'll get to it in this video.
Address how Capcom changed the look of Dante in the Devil May Cry reboot either. That may as well be what he's saying there. I am not aware of a game on the planet with a license agreement that says you are not buying a license. Our problem is not with licenses failing to inform people. Blizzard says they can take away your purchase for no reason. That sounds pretty clear to me. Our problem is those terms are so hostile to consumers and the medium that they should be taken off the table entirely.
I fucking agree with that. That's what I agree with. Cause the fact that they can do that is bullshit, honestly. Like that's fucking so ass that like a company can do that.
Entirely. This needs...
Because what's going to happen is so what's going to happen is now every company is going to say, well, you know, they're doing it, so you know what, we'll do it too. Like, anytime we make a live service game, you know, fuck it. Like, why spend the money? Like, it's always a license. And then what happens is once one person does it, the next person does it, soon every game does it, and then now it doesn't matter. Like in terms of, unless there's some really big backlash in terms of, what's the word? Effectiveness. In terms of like effectiveness, every company will just do it, and so the market will say that that's okay, and you have no choice basically. Because if every game company does a license thing, you're not really gonna have a choice at that point. Because like again, like everyone will play like a game that's like, you know, everyone wants to play it, but then now you can't play it if you want to put your foot down or whatever, when it is a kind of predatory business practice in the first place.
Regulation.
Sorry, I'm bad at communicating.
Forget video games. If you look at basic commerce for hundreds of years, when you paid money, you either got to keep what you paid for, or if it was a service, you were told when your access ends. The vast majority of online-only games do neither of those. The games industry is trying to upend basic commerce. I think you have to go back to feudalism before neither of those things are true. Why even have consumer laws if you have no rights?
If you try to tell me that every studio needs to run their live service game indefinitely or not want to run one at all, then no one's going to run them.
Oh no! He will.
Yeah, that's kind of what the fuck. Okay, you know what? To be fair, that is kind of crazy. This part is kind of
Neither
crazy.
of those things are true.
Because no
Why
one said
even
that.
have consumer laws if you have no rights?
If you try to tell me that every studio needs to run their live service game indefinitely or not want to run one at all, then no one's going to run them.
Okay, so two things here. One, that's kind of ridiculous. Like what the fuck? Like, first off. Second, you know what though? What if the Europeans suck at making laws and then they make that the law? It's a possibility. It's a possibility that they're so retarded at like making the law that they actually do it that way. And then it would fuck shit up really bad if they did that, right? So like, I can see like Ross saying that's not what I fucking want. Like what the fuck, Pirates? That's not what I said I wanted, right? But if the initiative is kind of too loose, the legislators, like the people making the laws, they could be like retarded, right? Like let's be real, like a lot of those people are retarded.
Oh no!
Not a big fan of the government.
He wheeled out that line about publishers having to support the game forever. He was literally watching the video earlier where it says it won't do that in big letters. That wasn't enough. We just can't stop gamers from going there, even when we spell it out. I admit, guys, this part hurts. To see the biggest voice on this issue get it wrong again and again and again. Then put
Dude, this guy is so mad.
that same wrong
He's so
information
mad.
on blast to a far bigger audience than we can reach. It hurts. He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand what we're asking
He's
for.
crashing out. It's okay though.
Now, to be fair, it sounded like he was getting a little closer in this video. Yeah, despite being called 2, it's at least the 4th video he did on this.
You want that to stay in a functional playable state. That means the devs have to release either server binaries or somehow...
This is the part I have concern with. Like here, I think Pirate actually does have like a valid argument.
carve off the game to be a single player experience now.
That's
So
better.
I did see this. Okay,
But
hold
he's
on.
still talking about converting the single player right to the end. He never completely got it.
No, well, I mean, the thing is that would fulfill it. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't. Never mind. I don't agree with that either. Because, like, for instance, like say like I want to play League of Legends, right? League of Legends was intended to be played with like 5v5, and say like you want to say to sunset the game. Riot was like, okay, guys, we're gonna sunset League of Legends, bots only, 1-player mode, bots only. That wouldn't really fulfill the preservation, because like it's not how the game was it's not how the game was intended to be played.
So Pirate Software did not understand the initiative. Maybe still doesn't. That means the majority of his critique is about things it would not do, like kill all MMOs.
If that passes, enjoy never playing an MMO again for the rest of your life and taking away from every other person that plays MMOs.
It really wouldn't. And I've explained why in that video, but the short version is companies would have to stop liking money for that to happen.
That's actually the perfect counter argument. True. That's so true, because that doesn't mean that the demand for MMOs evaporates. Right? The demand for MMOs will not evaporate overnight because of this thing. So there will always be a demand for it, and it's just all it's gonna take is waiting for one company to say like, you know what, I kind of want a piece of that pie. I kind of want that. I kind of want that money. All those MMO gamers that lost all their MMOs. I kind of want that money, right? And then one person does it, and then they do it in the according to the regulations of like however the EU does it, and then they follow the rules, like we'll release a private server at the end of the life of the thing, and then now that person makes all the MMO money. Like, can you imagine like all the MMO money, like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, EVE Online, everything. They get all of the money.
Lots of money. But his number one criticism is that he thinks the initiative is vague.
I think that's true.
Incredibly vague. Too vague.
I think that's true. Okay, what's his
Vague.
counter to
Very
this
vague,
one?
damn vague. It's vague. It's vague. That is vague.
It
Too
is.
vague. Vaguely written. Vague. Incredibly vague.
It is
Vaguely
vague.
worded. Vague. 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 This is
True.
vague.
This goes on.
Okay, now I want to hear his counter argument. This one's going to be interesting.
Well, from Thor's perspective, his logic is pretty sound for this part.
Oh, okay.
But the thing about logic is it's only as good as your assumed truths.
Wait, what?
And he said multiple times now that he thinks the initiative is...
It doesn't matter though. Like Ross, it doesn't matter though. Like just because he got the he had a misunderstanding. It's like what the initiative was about doesn't make his point about it wrong there.
Only about single player
vague.
games. So since he's expecting the thing he made up, but that's not what the initiative is asking for, he thinks it's vague.
It is vague though.
Because for him it is.
No, it is vague.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's direct.
What? Hold on. Okay, he kind of lost me there because he kind of lost me there because just because Pirate Software's idea of what the initiative is about is wrong, doesn't automatically mean that he's wrong about it being vague.
Targeting always online single player games. It is vague.
Yeah, in fact, if we look at that long definition again, let's add a subsection just for Thor. Single player...
Mrs. Blackfire says it's not vague, it's plainly stating what the petition is about. Well, okay, so this is what I assume Thor means by it being vague. You know, I could be wrong. But my assumption about it being vague is that it doesn't explicitly say like what the rules of engagement would be for these companies. Like what is the requirement specifically? Right? Because that part is important to make sure everybody gets what they want out of it. However, I literally just read it rundown. I literally just read it. Like I literally just read it. Like just earlier.
Player games with an online DRM check. Those would already fall under this broader category. So Thor is...
Then why do I think it's vague? Because it doesn't have the specifics of like how it's going to be implemented. The law proposal comes after the petition. Again, like the problem is that we don't know. How do I explain it? We don't know. And you know, this might just be like a doomer take, but like, I think that politicians are like, for the most part, retarded. And like, it is possible that they like, okay, these specifics matter so much for this law in terms of like not fucking over game developers that it is possible for them to create a law set that does fuck them over, like puts a burden that is so bad on game developers that it hampers creativity. It is possible. That's it. That's what I mean. Is like for instance, like them saying like stop killing games is the initiative. Like, I mean, we can just look at it right now if you want. Like, we'll just look at it, right? Like, the objective is to require publishers that sell or license video games to consumer to leave said video games in a functionable, playable state, right? But like what do they mean by this though, right? Like does this mean again, like the case I said earlier of oh yeah, League of Legends, that 5v5 game that you like, yeah, it's one player now, and like you can fight against bots, and it only works like on your computer, right? Specifically initiated to prevent the remote disabling of video games by publishers before providing a reasonable means to continue functioning of said video games without the involvement of the side of the publisher. Yeah, and see, like this is the thing that Thor was talking about, that the initiative seeks the remote. By the way, guys, I just want to like I want to be clear. I agree with stop killing games. All right, because a lot of people seem to get that wrong about it. They think I hate video games and like I don't want anyone to own anything. I agree with stop killing video games. I'm trying to address. I think that there are concerns on the developer side. I just don't think they're as important. But it doesn't mean that there aren't concerns. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you for the bits. I don't understand this petition could be a burden. The petition is about no longer games being removed / delisted. And for specific multiplayer online, you should have a way for players to continue to host the service. Okay, so I'll explain. Okay, I'll give you like a way. Okay, hold on. I've explained this before, Mrs. Blackfire, but I'll explain it one more time. So basically, say there's a company, right, and they want to develop some of their own server technology, because like say the game is 1000 v 1000, like I'm just making up a hypothetical, right? There's a 1000 v 1000 game, and that's a lot of people to have on a server like at one time, and like that would be like require like some hardcore fucking server tech to like do something like that, right? And then let's say that the company was like, we really want to do that. Like guys, that's a dream. 1000 v 1000 game. Like we want it so bad, right? And they were like, we're going to spend money to create technology to make a 1000 v 1000 server. All right. Now say like, you know, they're making, I don't know, let's just say 1000 v 1000 like space troopers or something, right? That's the name of the game. 1000 space troopers. And then you know that game's coming out, and then like say like interest for the game wanes, but they're like, oh, you know what, we were working on 1000 v 1000 like knights, and like we think that game will do better, right? You know, people weren't really interested in like 1000 v 1000 space troopers, but they would be really interested in knights, right? And so they're like, we're going to use the same server like technology that we used before, right? But now they would be forced to release that technology. They would be forced to release that technology in some form, right? And even if it's just like some kind of server software, like okay, sorry, they might not be forced to. It just depends on how it's written. The law is written, right? But there is a way for the law to be written in which they would have to release that technology in the form of like a server executable, which again would allow people to like possibly reverse engineer. Like there's a possibility there of like reverse engineering like the server technology, and then like taking that server technology, since it's public now. That's what I'm trying to say, basically. People can play the old game and can still make their new one anyway. Yes, but it's basically an issue of like competition and like intellectual property of like the engineering of the server. But like again, my take on it though is that is not as important as people being able to play the game. You see what I'm saying? Like what I'm saying is there is a concern there, but people having their games taken away is worse. So like my point is that there is a concern with how a company could be compelled by the government to provide a server software technology, basically. There's a concern with how that to what extent they could be compelled is important. And I think it is a valid concern of developers. But if I had to pick one, then fuck them, basically. Do you see what I'm saying? People have worked out how to make their own servers all the time. The Gundam Evo guys worked it out. Yeah, but the thing is like, Saber, if they were to make like a server like that, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the same. I guess what you could do, and like how I would write it, maybe. How would I write it, man? Like I don't know. But see, the thing is like now it's like kind of fucked up. I just thought of like a evil thing that like game companies could do. Fuck. An evil thing that they could do is they could say, okay, you know what? We don't want to give our server architecture, so like, let's make a shitty server. Do you see? They could do that too. Let's just make a shitty server. Like, fuck it. Like, who cares? Like, let's just make like the bare bones, like minimum, like garbage server that's like basically unplayable. And then they could release that and be like, well, we fulfilled the requirement. Like, this is what I mean. Like, there's a lot of specifics that have to be figured out here and like hashed out by people. It's not as simple as the initiative makes it seem like it is. Giving you, thank you for the bits. Thank you so much. Malicious compliance will be never-ending subscriptions and battle passes. It could be that too. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say. I think like one thing that you could say for certain though, and I think like nobody, I think this is fair, and I don't think anybody could really say no to this, is that if a company basically end services a game, that they can't simultaneously sue people for making private servers. I think that would be fair. That would be like a fair thing. Like I would be like 100% for that. We have to keep this in mind, and the petition is mostly for the games that were on the end of life, where they are shut down by publishers / developers to the point where there shouldn't be an issue with the technology / access to the public, because they are moving past the game and throwing it away. E47, thank you for the bits. You cannot buy League of Legends as a product. You do not own your game passes. It's a service only, and legally it cannot be treated as a product for your ownership. There's no problem with service only. Yeah, but what people are saying is that they would like that to not be true. And like I kind of agree with them, honestly. Like it's really annoying that like you could, you know, have a game, you spend all this money on the game, and then just whenever they feel like it, like even for profit reasons, like the like I'll give you a good example. Overwatch, something like Overwatch. Like guys, I'm not even gonna use Overwatch for an example. Let's say like you had a game that you really like. Let's just call it like Space Troopers. Like you really love Space Troopers, like so fucking fun, right? And then they release Space Troopers 2, and then they scuttle Space Troopers 1 to force you to buy Space Troopers 2. And Space Troopers 2 sucks even more. The problem is when they shut down Halo 3 because they want you to buy. Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Exactly, Sketch. Like I think that's awful, right? Anyway.
He's expecting this. Again, I don't know why, but instead he's seeing an initiative that covers all of this. That's why he calls it vague 50 times. The thought that we want what we're asking for and not the thing he made up seems to have never entered his head. The initiative is trying to stop the destruction of games. That's the whole point. It covers the types of games most in need of saving. If we only covered this tiny subsection, that would save maybe 1% or less of games that get destroyed. This would
see, like, I can see, like, maybe there's another failure of communication here. In that I can see Ross basically saying, like, listen, this is about stop killing games, fucking period. That's it. Like, that's the entire thing, right? And then, like, what Thor could be saying is, like, okay, I get that, but, like, yo, like, how? The how is really important, and the how is not in there, so it's vague, right? Like I think that's probably what's going on here.
Do almost nothing. I'm not saying there isn't one, but I literally can't think of a game that meets this criteria. Every game I know of with single player content that's been destroyed has been designed to run server side, not locally. Older ones like that tend to have the DRM cracked.
Basically, the goal, like the mission of Stop Killing Games, is very high level. Does that make sense? It's a high, okay, like here's the best way to explain it. Okay, here's a good way to explain it. You guys know like how, okay, so like the way like some companies work, like a lot of companies work this way, where you have people that make high level decisions, and you have people that make low level decisions, right? A high level decision would be like an initiative or a directive, right? So like for instance, like the president of the company could be like, okay, guys, game buggy, make game not buggy, right? And then like they would leave the implementation of that to like the people making lower level decisions, right? Like it's kind of like a broad statement, right? Or like another good one was like, okay, guys, sci-fi game, that's next game. And it's like, but it doesn't actually say anything about like what kind of sci-fi game or like what's the setting of the sci. It doesn't say anything like that. It's just sci-fi game, next game, sci-fi game, guys, go make it, right? And then so now like everybody else has to kind of think about what that means and then like try to make it. And so like so that might be where the confusion is, or like the kind of miscommunication is that Ross is making it unintentionally high level statement, right? And then so he's making the high level statement, and then Pirate Software is like, yeah, but how do we implement it? And they could be talking past each other, possibly, because it does seem like a very high level statement. It's not specific about anything.
Which is not an ideal solution, but that does stop game destruction. And newer ones with the Nuvo or something tend to have it removed by end of life. So I say less than 1%, but this might save 0% of games.
Yeah, it's not that many games. Yeah, like I would want it to save as many games as possible.
I'm not sure. The initiative is actually not that vague. Though to be fair, some people dig...
Which is why there's discussion when this passes. Yeah, I think there's just a lack of trust, probably, Jarkin. Like, and this is the thing, I guess, like I think this is like might be the problem with like that Pirate Software had, is he basically said like, yeah, you know what? They're probably going to fuck up on this. So like, fuck it. Like, no. That's kind of like, it almost seems like that is like the reason he's like so against it, because he's just like he would rather the developers have the power to like say yes or no, or like how they do it, right? Like it would, because the thing is like, you have to admit like this. Okay, here's a good way to explain it. Can we all agree that there is risk here? Like at least that far. At least can we at least agree that far, chat? That there is a risk because you have to deal with lawmakers and they're kind of retarded. So like there is a risk, right? So like Pirate Software might be saying, well, not worth it. Risk not worth it. Probably too retarded. I'm on the side of game development and creativity within game development. That could be like his angle, basically. Is like he's going like, as a game developer, I care more about the creativity and the capability of people to make games, that I care less about the other thing. That could be like his angle here, right? And like why he like wholly opposes it. And again, like I see that myself. Like I see that and I'm like, oh, that is important. But not destroying games more important. So I say yes.
Get hung up on this part. A reasonably playable or functional state. True, that is not 100% specific. There are reasons for that. You know how in law, police can stop a suspect with reasonable suspicion? Or a jury finds someone guilty beyond all reasonable doubt? That's because the number of situations you face are so varied that the law has to inject some common sense somewhere.
Yeah.
It's the same with games. A multi-million-dollar MMO is a different animal from a budget arena shooter.
Mm-hmm.
It won't work making highly specific laws.
Well, okay, so the problem here, and like this is just an understanding of like human nature. They are going to fucking squirrel their way out of this as much as they can. Like, do you really think that like Ubisoft and like EA are just gonna be like, yeah, okay, you know what, we're gonna do this in the best possible way? Yeah, of course we would. They're going to fucking have their lawyers, their expensive ass fucking lawyers, look at the law, do the nitty gritty details, and they're going to fucking do it in the way that most benefits them. Like, even if it involves fucking everyone over. And you know they're gonna do this. You know for a fact that they're gonna fucking do this. So that's why it needs to be like specific and airtight, is for that reason. Of course, like there's common sense involved, but let's be real. Does common sense apply like when there's a battle of law? Does it? Because you know the fucking assholes are gonna do everything in their power to like twist the truth in whatever way to like bend the law, the wording, the exact fucking phrasing of the law. I mean, you guys want some proof? You guys want some proof? I'll give you proof right now. The Second Amendment is the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. And everyone's still infringing it. What other proof do I need, chat? What other proof do I need that they're gonna do this shit?
That's one half of it. The other half of it is this sentence is an olive branch to publishers. I've heard complaints this isn't specific enough. Okay, but you know what the alternative to this would be? Here, I'll show you. The game must be fully functional and contain 100% of all features as advertised. So as a publisher, which requirement would you rather meet? More importantly, this sentence shows the EU Commission that we're acting in good faith and trying to find a balance.
Yeah. The problem is it is really hard. It's like it's true. It is really, really hard because there's. How do you even make the law airtight? It's going to be really hard. They're going to need like really good people. And again, this is what I mean. Like I can see Pirate Software's hesitation. Again, I don't agree with it, but I can see like the hesitation. What I do agree with is that there is risk. That's what I do agree with. And that it is a concern. That part I agree with. But I wouldn't scuttle this movement because I think that it has good intentions. And I really do believe in games being preserved and protected. But this is going to be really fucking hard. Like having to deal with like freaking politicians and like game companies trying to come to like a consensus. It's going to be really, really rough for it to actually like work, I think.
I think some of the people asking for this to be more specific may not realize what they're asking for. I know some won't believe this, but a hell of a lot of thought went into the wording of the initiative. I think it's almost perfect. See, the initiative isn't even a proposed bill. It's a negotiation.
But see, that's why, again, like, that's why Pirate Software is concerned. He's like, I'm a game developer. I gotta protect game developers and the creativity of game development. And this could fuck up. So I'd rather it stays how it is now. Which I think is like, is reasonable, but I don't agree with it. Like, I don't agree with it, again, on a level of weight, not on a level of logic. I think logically, like he makes perfect sense in terms of this specific thing, but I just think the other thing is more important than he does, I guess.
Our side says we want games to be functional when publishers end support, so they need end-of-life plans. The industry's position is going to be against whatever we write and claim they need no regulation whatsoever. Then the EU Commission gets to decide who is more in the right here. The Citizens Initiative is the opening offer in these negotiations. Trust me, the industry worth hundreds of billions of dollars will make its position known to the EU. We don't have to make their case for them. So for this negotiation, simple is good.
Well, the thing is like, he is them, though. Right? He's making the argument because he is them. He is a game developer. So he is them.
That's why we're straight and to the point for what we want. Then the industry will argue against.
So like, duh, he would argue against it. Like, from that point of perspective, it makes sense.
That then the EU Commission might look for compromises.
That's why this became a drama. I see. Okay, I get it now. Naruhodo, I Naruhodo now, chat.
Negotiation with a bunch of compromises, because then it will get so watered down you won't save anything. Oh, and that long definition list are actually logical extensions of the simpler language used in the initiative. It's actually kind of slick. Plus, there's a character limit on these things. The EU Commission doesn't want you trying to cover 50 edge cases at this phase. All right, so
it's basically like a phase one. It's a phase one thing, and like, it's a phase one thing, and it being vague. Okay, here's the thing, though, chat. Here's the thing. It's still not wrong. It's still not wrong. It is vague. It is still vague. It's not like all of this explanation and all of this doesn't change the fact that it's vague. What he should have said is, yes, that is intended. Period. It is intended for it to be vague, yes. And that's it. That should have been the end of it. It didn't need to have like a, the whole
software
thing
did not
around it.
understand the initiative. But point two, he also did not make it easy for the truth to get out. I had never heard of him prior to all this, but during the campaign, I had dozens of people contacting me, telling me how wise and reasonable he is, how he's really pro-consumer and represents developers, and I should really talk to him. Great, let's do it. So this was my first encounter of him.
Oh shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction.
Ooh. Ooh.
That's awful, dude. No, eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was
Some people would say yes.
It's like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I drop the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that.
Oh, fuck. Okay. This is a little hard, I think. It's a little hard.
They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing. That sounds stupid as shit.
Oh, yeah. I can see why people like him. It's like listening to Mr. Rogers. As you can imagine, we've been less than thrilled that Thor here has become the dominant voice of the campaign. Especially when he doesn't understand.
Helicrism says, from my point, in order to push it forward a vague idea That would throw a wrench in the status of a quote. There must be a strong electoral backing for it. 1K signatures might sound good, but it isn't enough. Wait, wasn't it 1KK, 1 million? Yeah. I think 1 million is fine. 1 million is a lot, actually. I actually think 1 million is a good amount. That's a lot of people. And the thing is, you have to understand, like, that's people that, like, went out of their way to, like, sign something. So that's, like, people that are, like, pretty invested as well. So, like, I think 1 million's fine. I think it's okay.
Stand it. Though I did find the used car salesman part amusing, since if people could read my mind, they would understand how much I dread anything resembling sales or marketing, or just trying to push things on people who aren't interested in them. I'm not exaggerating when I said I've hated having to run this campaign.
This is the most uneducated take I have ever seen in games.
Now, as for that one, I do have a bachelor's in criminal justice, which might explain why I'm coming at this from very different angles than he is.
I think there's, like, honestly, like, I think he should have just said that it's intended to be vague. Should have explained it that way. Just just how I think it could have been a better argument, but, like, you know, whatever. I'm just nitpicking at this point.
You know, focusing on people having rights and checking what consumer law actually says rather than what's most convenient.
Yeah, he could have made it like 5 minutes. You know? Yeah, I agree.
For publishers. Though I think I know where that comment is coming from because I've gotten it before. Here's what I think is happening. Online-only games have a client and a server, but a lot also have middleware that developers don't have permission to distribute to customers, or depend on microservices they have no control over, and the server software isn't even designed to run on a customer system. You can't just cut out the middleware and remove the microservices because they're integrated too deeply.
Yep.
That would still leave the game bricked and could take months to fix and be a lot of work. So I think some devs think we're saying all they need to do is just release the server binaries at end of life and yay, everything is solved. And that's why they think we're ignorant. Well, for some games that could work, but not ones like these. Plus, that's not what we're saying. First off, we're not even mandating the methodology because, again...
Yeah, basically, like what he's saying is it doesn't fucking matter. Like, all that matters is the bottom line of, like you can't just fucking destroy the game. Like, you'd have to figure some way. Again, though, like what I said, they're probably gonna do that. They're probably like, fuck it, like put it on some budget ass fucking server software. Like, yeah, guys, here's the server, and then it's like total garbage. Like, they're probably gonna fucking do that, man. You know they will. You know those freaking people are gonna do that. They're gonna be like, okay, guys, like, listen. Space Rangers 2 is coming out. But you know, the initiative, you know, the Stop Killing Games like law came out, and like we have to like make it like playable forever. But you know, we don't want to give them our proprietary like good 1000 v1000 software. So like put it on a shitty, like make somebody like, hey Bob, intern, we got an intern. Yeah, like have him code the server for it. And it's gonna be like fucking dog water.
Doing that could run afoul of copyright law. Second, this whole diagram is looking at a game that exists right now.
This is why it needs to be like really well made, dude. Like, I hope so. Like, I really do. Like, I really hope that this is implemented in a good way that makes it so I can play my games. Like, I put it this way, guys. One day Uma Musume is gonna die, and I'm gonna want my Umas still. All right, I still want my horses.
And was never designed to have an end of life.
My horses, which are so fucking breedable. All of my horse girls are absolutely breedable. And I don't want them taken away from me. Because I want to breed them. And I will keep breeding them.
Those might not be salvageable. So what we're saying is let's take a game in the future. No code has been written yet. It's still just a design document. Okay, so we have the client portion as usual. Then we have the server logic. Now we'll bring in our usual middleware and microservice vendors. Nope. Stop. Now, the EU says we can't just brick customer purchases like we've been doing if we want to sell our games there. So that means we can't keep making all these same deals the way we have been. Now we need to renegotiate with the vendors to allow for an end-of-life build with their software. Or redesign things to make the microservices easier to sever at end of life. And vendors probably will renegotiate. Otherwise, they'll start losing sales to everyone who wants to sell games in the EU. But say a vendor refuses anyway. Then we need to go with vendor B,
Yep.
who will offer EU-compliant solutions because they will be happy to take money away from their competitor, vendor A. Or maybe we need to abandon one of the microservices altogether and come up with an in-house alternative that is compatible with an end-of-life plan. And if the server can't run on consumer hardware, well, maybe now we code it in a way that's more versatile and can be compiled to run a stripped-down version with less features for the customer machine at end of life. Or hey, if that's not doable, then we scrap that, but still give customers some form of server software at end of life because now we've planned for this, and inform them it requires specialized hardware, and they're on their own for getting it working. And these are all just suggestions. The publisher would get to decide how they want to comply. Thor is not alone in developers trashing what I just said. I don't know why, but some of the nastiest insults I've received on the entire campaign have been when I try to explain this is what we're asking for. This part in particular triggers some people to no end.
Wait, why?
That video made me actually mad.
Why would it make you mad?
Like real mad. Not like fake memes mad, like
What? What?
actually mad.
Why?
Like I'm actually mad.
Upsetting people is not our goal, by the way. We actually want this transition to be as easy as possible for publishers and developers. However, we are stubbornly...
I see why people don't like him now. I can see it. I can see I can see the line of reasoning that gets to people not liking pirate software. I see it now.
Against proposals that won't stop commercial games being...
But that doesn't stop the fact that like some of what he said is true. Because it still is true. But I can see why people don't like him.
...destroyed. Because that's the whole point. Anyway, you heard Thor's comments for me. In light of that, I think I've been pretty diplomatic.
That's basically been my point the whole time. My point is actually still the same, like right now, is that some of the stuff that he said is valid. That's basically it. That's what I said. I just didn't understand the criticism to that. What I didn't see is that the criticism is to the entire argument, basically. The criticism is not directed at that specific argument, although it is sometimes. It is directed at the entire attitude. That's I see that now. Social retard, remember me? I'm retarded when it comes to social stuff.
I am just trying to get this initiative passed. If that means I have to get insulted all along the way, okay. So with that in mind, I reached out to him, not expecting to change his mind, but to at least clarify things since he got so much.
So wait, so did they actually talk? Did they actually talk about it?
Wrong. If you're gonna hate us, at least hate us for what we're actually doing, not for things that are made up about us.
I got a message from Ross. There were many other misunderstandings in your video. It's clear that you hate the initiative, and I doubt I would change that. That is correct. I would encourage you to at least hate it for what it actually is. I do.
He says that so confidently. Oh yeah, you knocked it out of the park. You understood everything.
In other words, the customer is told explicitly that their access ends at the time of payment. Most live service games do not do this, which could run afoul of EU law. Most is patently incorrect.
Patently incorrect? Okay, for those who don't know much about live service games, that's like saying the Earth isn't round. He says verifiably false things so is
time of payment. Most live service games. In other words, the customer is told explicitly that their access ends at the time of payment.
Hold on. For example, what we consider under law as a true service. In other words, the customer is told explicitly when their access ends. Explicitly when they're... Wait. Most service... No, wait, what? That's not true. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. In other words, the customer is told explicitly when their access ends at the... Wait, is this... Wait, who's typing? Hold on, wait. WoW would be likely an exception since it's considered under the law as a true service. In other words, the customer is told explicitly when the access ends at the time of payment. Most live service... Wait. Is that true? Wait, I'm confused. Hold on. The customer, hold on. WoW would likely be an exception since it is considered under the law as a true service. In other words, the customer selects most live service games. Oh, this is the part. Most live wait, hold on. Most live service games do not do this. I'm confused. Hold on. To be fair, it's late. Wait, they don't? Subscriptions have a list duration, games don't.
Most live service games do not do this, which could run afoul of EU law. Most is patently incorrect.
Patently incorrect?
Okay, let's hear the argument first.
Okay, for those who don't know much about live service games, that's like saying the Earth isn't round. He says verifiably false things so confidently.
Okay.
If his viewers don't know any better, how can I blame anyone for believing what he says about the initiative when he talks like that?
For instance, you don't know when Uma Musume will end? Yeah, but... Oh, most live service... Okay, I see where I got it wrong. Most do not do this. Wait, but does WoW actually say that? Does WoW actually say that in it? Like, does WoW tell you, like, when the service ends? The thing is like, I don't really like that argument, though, because, again, like, under that... under like, the way that that's being said, like, they could just change the wording then. Right? Because, again, like, this goes into, like, it being, like, an issue of wording, which I don't like that. Thank you for the bits, Mrs. Blackfire. There's a lot of online-only games that customers buy, and then a few years later, the game is shut down for whatever reason by the developer or publisher, and then the customers access, meaning they lose their product, which is against the law. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The customer is told explicitly
Yes,
that
I
their
can
access
see that.
ends at the time of payment. Most live service games do not do this, which could run afoul of EU law. Most is...
Okay.
Okay, if his viewers don't know any better, how can I blame anyone for believing what he says about the initiative when he talks like that? It's incredible. And he does not wish to discuss this with me or anyone else in the initiative. Why not?
Would you...
Yeah, that's the problem. Is like I feel like wording being the argument is like I don't think that's a good argument. Because I don't really care about the wording, to be honest. Like it doesn't solve anything because then it's just gonna turn into like the game companies just changing the wording.
consider reaching out and talking to Ross about it? No. And the reason why is because I found his entire statement over the YouTube incredibly disingenuous.
Yes, this issue which has bothered me since I was a teenager and I've spent 10 years on trying to push back against is me being disingenuous. Where is this coming from? Well, it comes from a slide I had in my promotional video, the half-joke slide. He hated this, and I think he may have a rather privileged view of politics.
You want to put together legislation because it's the right thing to do.
We did!
Not because you can convince legal representatives to do it.
Thanks for the bits, Ms. Blackfire. Let me use the game we both play. Like, imagine Hunt Showdown will just shut down. You can no longer access it at all. Access the game or play it in any shape or form. That is against EU law because you and I have bought the game. Yeah. I mean, that's basically like what I want to fight against. Like, I think that's a noble cause, basically. Like, I think that's awful that games can do that.
No matter what.
It's both. These are not mutually exclusive things.
The idea that we're going to go through this because it's an easy win, but not the right win? No, dude.
Oh, God. So we misunderstood the initiative and misunderstood our intentions.
To be fair, text is kind of hard to understand. But then again, I'm not very good socially, so.
And in his words, this is why he refuses to have a dialogue with the movement. So now I have to address it.
He should have just talked to him. And like, maybe there's a misunderstanding or something. Like, I think it would have been good to talk it out.
Let's keep it basic. He calls me disingenuous, implying I don't believe what I'm pushing for, that this is some sort of con. That's uncharitable to the point of being silly. Besides video evidence going back 10 years, this is not a hard concept to grasp. I hate seeing creative works needlessly destroyed when people are trying to save them. And video games are where I see that happen the most.
Mm-hmm.
Of course I believe in what I'm advocating for. Maybe start from there. I'm a little surprised that didn't sink in.
The idea of getting it to pass with an easy win instead of pass because it's good is a problem to me. Absolute problem.
That's not how politics works. Do you think things pass because they're good ideas? Tell that to people who still have lead in their water. A lot of gamers are jaded with good cause. The industry has been shaking them down every which way. The perception that it's hopeless to
You know what? Fair enough. Fair. That's fair. That's true.
protect our rights against billion-dollar conglomerates is often correct.
That's true. That like basically the game companies have been encroaching and encroaching more and more and more and more like each time. Again, not all game companies, but like you know, the big dickhead ones have been encroaching more and more and more on like consumer rights. And he's just fucking fed up with it. He's just like, you know what, fucking blow them all up and we'll see where it goes. Like that seems to be like his kind of I don't know, I might be misrepresenting his position, but it almost seems like that's kind of like what he's trying to say. And like I can see that.
If I told people this would pass just because it's a good idea, I wouldn't believe me. This slide is a half joke, but it's also some totally cynical reasons.
Basically, shoot first, ask questions later. Do you think am I misrepresenting like that? I think that's kind of his point. I think that's what he's trying to say. Is yo, I'm gonna shoot first, ask questions later, and then we can figure it out. that's kind of what it seems like. He's like, listen, them game companies, they've been messing with me for so long, for 10 years since I was a teenager. So I'm gonna shoot first and ask questions later. Now we can figure it out.
That are often true to let people know we have a chance and this isn't utterly hopeless. Do you think I or most people in the movement give a damn why politicians might pass something good?
Well, fair enough. I can see that.
What we care about is that they pass something good.
No.
We don't need them to be true believers. We need them to pass good law. This is as soft as it possibly gets in politics. I think most politicians would.
I'm very government sucks. I'm very government sucks. So it's like I'm very pessimistic, like, to be honest, when it comes to the government. Like I don't trust them to do any I don't trust the government to screw in the light bulb correctly.
Would find this slide funny. It sounds like he's offended I have a low opinion of the political process. Well, I'm the one in the trenches here. I'm not sure if he's upset at me or just upset at reality. Yeah, I am too. Anyway, he went on to delete my reply to him. Thankfully, someone backed it up, and I figured, okay, he hates this.
Wait, he deleted it? Fair enough, chat. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Was thrust upon him by his viewers. I'll just leave him be. Well, that was a mistake on my part, because then he went on to make more videos about me and the movement, now reaching over 1 million views, still broadcasting the wrong information on us. I guess I'm being petty here, but this is alien thinking to me. Why would you call someone out, then run away from a conversation with them when they say there's a misunderstanding?
Oh my god, I 100 billion, like 10 billion% agree with him on this.
But then go on to make more videos calling them out. Sir, that is not gentlemanly behavior.
It's true.
All right, I know this is going on too long, so I'll get to the final point.
That one I agree with, like 100%.
Thor misunderstood the initiative, misunderstood our intentions, and misinformed the...
No, Leaflit coming around on Ross, I was never against Ross. Like, this is like the misconceptions. Like everyone thinks like I have it out for this guy. I don't. I actually agree with him on the gist of it, and I actually agree with Stop Killing Games. I said that like 10 million times. I said it like so many times. If I could vote on it, I would. I agree with it. And I agree that the consumer rights is more important than companies' rights. I've said it like since the beginning, but I'm telling you guys on the video, I made a video about this, right? Where I was like, oh yeah, there are concerns about like the pirate software thing, like stuff that he said, like a lot of the stuff that he said was like true. I agree with it, you know, that being the developer concerns and like the government, like making rules concerns. I agree with those, right? I specifically said that the rights of the consumer matters more than that, and so it takes precedence like in terms of priority. So therefore, like, I agree with it rather than not agree with it. I just don't think it's perfect. And then like everyone said, guys, Leaflit said that you will you will own nothing and you will be happy. And I was like, what the fuck? I didn't say that. Like, what? SMH, bro.
A lot of people about both. But the irony is, I think he would have hated it even more if he did understand it. Because first, he doesn't see any of this as a problem.
Gaming isn't in need of saving. No, it's not a form of planned obsolescence. It's called the game no longer being profitable and we turned it off. No games are being destroyed here. These are live.
Well, what? What? How can you say that with a straight face? Okay, no, this is just wrong. Wait, what?
It's called the game no longer being profitable and we turned it off. No games are being destroyed here. These are live service games.
No games are being destroyed here, just live service games. Games are not being destroyed here, just some games.
Yeah, you heard him. No games are being destroyed. Does he just say anything? Is that why he's popular? More to the point, and what I wish he included in his main video.
God, I gotta do more of that shit, guys, right? Am I right, chat? am I right?
Is he supports games being destroyed.
A very strange
I've just found my path to growth, guys. My path to stream growth.
demand from people in the gaming industry where live service games should live forever. Whether in the hands of the developer or otherwise. And I can't get behind that shit.
Wait, hold on.
From people in the gaming industry.
And what I wish he included
Strange.
Is he supports games.
Thanks for the bits, Mrs. Blackfire. Thank you. I'm gonna come and say this person are anti-gamer slash anti-consumer. I don't think it's fair to call him anti-gamer because like he plays games too, right? Like I don't know, man. I don't
being
know.
destroyed.
A very strange demand
Okay.
from people in the gaming industry where live service games should live forever. Whether in the hands of the developer or otherwise.
Wait.
And I can't get behind that shit ever. Whether in the hands of the developer or otherwise.
Wait, why not? Wait, what? Why? What's bad about that? Hold on. I don't get it. What's wrong with that? Don't we care about, like, I don't understand that. Like, hold on. Why wouldn't we want like a game like say like what do you not like about the idea of being able to play a game that you played like in your childhood and just play it again later? Like, I don't get it. Like, what?
And I can't get behind that shit.
Why?
I think live service games getting sunsetted is fine. I've always thought that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I have no problems with the end of a video game.
See, I wish he started his big YouTube video with that message instead of deleting it. Instead, he presented himself as pro-preservation and not wanting the medium to die out.
It's incredibly important to me that we keep making games and that the next generation has the tools to do so that our medium doesn't die out. And it never will. And that's the whole intention of all of this.
So he doesn't want games to die out, except he's fine with that. I think there's some cognitive dissonance.
I think he's talking about I think he's talking about like to be fair in this specific case, I think he's talking about like game developers, that he doesn't want like some rules holding down creativity in game developers. I think that's the point he's bringing up here.
We keep making games and that the next generation has the tools to do so that our medium doesn't die out.
Yeah, see, like basically that he doesn't want some law to come into place that's going to fuck up like the future of people making games. That's like his point here. I don't think it's
out. And it never will. And that's the whole intention of all of this.
So he doesn't want games to die out, except he's fine with that.
Yeah, I think
there's
so,
some cognitive dissonance going on there. And he's against killing single-player games that only have a DRM check, okay, but then says people who buy single-player games with more than a DRM
E479 says, I understand your libertarian argument about the government, but but can the government legally enforce that pure subscription is a sellable product? If it can't, then the publishers are safe. I think, I don't think it's a pure subscription though. Especially with things like gacha games where you pay for stuff, right? You pay for like specific items that are digital. Yeah, that does need like a clarification, but like for me, I'm gonna be real. I'm coming at from like a kind of mobile gacha gamer, like I'm coming from it from a gacha gamer perspective because that's where this happens the most, to be honest. And like I feel like when you roll for a waifu and like you get like that character, that like you're kind of paying for a digital product, right? Or like even when you get like DLC, like for a game, like you're kind of paying for a digital product, right? This is what it feels like, at least.
DRM check are stupid, and he doesn't play those.
I don't buy games that are always online single player games. I refuse to play those because it's stupid.
That's some tough talk coming from a fan of Diablo 4.
It's actually really freaking good, dude. The game's fantastic. Itemization is great. Systems design is great. Storyline has been fantastic. The characters are good. The voice acting is great.
So is he saying he wouldn't have played Diablo 4's single-player campaign if it didn't have forced multiplayer also? Even though he's praising it and appears to be playing solo? Or is he saying that people that just wanted to play Diablo 4 single-player are stupid? I admit I got lost on his stance there. But what's more clear to me is we're not on the same side. Here's a list of some popular games that are all at risk of being destroyed at some time in the future. The Stop Killing Games movement sees any of these being destroyed as a problem, and they're exactly the kinds of games that would start being protected if the initiative passed. Now, a lot of these do have single-player campaigns, but I believe they all require more than a simple DRM check. He says over and over that his problem with the initiative is the wording, and it's vague. But there is no wording he would like that also saves games like these, because he's on the opposite side of this. If he's totally fine with games like these being disabled forever.
He stated it himself, right? He stated himself that he's okay with like the games going away and that they should just like sunset. Like he said that basically. So he said it himself. Mrs. Blackfire, thank you for the bits. Girls Friendly 2, I've spent over 700. Holy shit. I would be distraught if I lost what I bought with that money, and I think it should be illegal for any reason for the game to be taking that from me. Yeah, I think I think like a private server or something like that would be great.
Well, guess what?
I want that too. Like I want to play Dragalia Lost with my old homies. That's all I want.
The position of the industry causing this entire problem in the first place. And that's the final point. Thor says he disagrees with how we're going about trying to end game destruction, but he also disagrees with the goal itself.
Yeah.
No, wait, I want to be fair. He's only against 99% of it minus that tiny provision he made up. So once you understand that, then of course it makes sense that he's against the Stop Killing Games movement. Because we're trying to stop killing games. Now, if you're in Thor's camp and think killing all these games is fine and are as things should be, okay, then it's just a values clash. And yeah, you'll hate the initiative too. I'm not trying to tell you otherwise. But if you think you might have been misled about what the initiative is, hey, maybe look at it again. Tell others about it. Help undo some of the damage. There is still time. It closes July 31st. Thor lying about what the campaign is about, remember, second definition, has caused more damage to it than anything else I'm aware of. Now, I've heard some people say, no, it caused a Streisand effect and led to more coverage. Well, if you look at the signature rate, it suggests...
Well, he's wrong here. Ross is wrong on this one.
That's the opposite. I've also been told a big streamer, like in that group I mentioned earlier, you know, the kind that are so big they could end this, avoided talking about Stop Killing Games because of Thor's take on it.
Wait, really?
Remember, at the time he did this, Pirate Software was a well-respected developer looked up to by the internet community for having good takes on gaming. And I was, and still am, the weirdo with no credentials other than not wanting games destroyed. So with Thor being seen as the smartest guy in the room and firmly against the initiative, I think that led some internet figures to not want to touch this,
Yes,
lest they be
true.
seen like
that is fair though. It does like make it kind of scary, because you risk going up against somebody that like everyone thinks is like giga smart. Like even if you're 100% sure, even if you're 100% sure that you're right, it won't matter in the court of public opinion.
fool in the eyes of Thor. Now, as I understand it, that risk may have lowered since then, but it doesn't really matter if nobody else talks about it, because he was there to kill the momentum when we needed it the most, and we never got it back. Okay, that's it on him. I did not enjoy having to do that segment, but I've had to do a lot of things on this campaign I don't like. Believe it or not, my goal was not to tarnish Thor's reputation. That's incidental. I don't care. He can be hailed as a national hero. Whatever. The goal was to expose the damage done to the campaign to try and fix it. I do think he's someone who would have defended the divine right of kings hundreds of years ago, but I don't wish him ill will.
Sketch Therapy Live says, Pirate started taking money for his game in 2016. It's almost 10 years and 2 chapters. He wants to kill the game in Steam. Wait, what? In Steam, he wants DRM so he can sunset. Has delivered 2 chapters in 9 years. I'm gonna be real. I don't know anything about his game. Like to be honest, like I don't really know much about his game.
On the contrary, I hope he finds some peace of mind. Now you might be thinking, is this campaign really so fragile that one big streamer can sink it just by misrepresenting it? Oh, yeah, it totally is. It's been an uphill battle almost every step of the way. It sinks or swims to the whims of what big streamers do. It kind of reminds me of the Greek gods. That part about easy wins, that's for the politicians, not us. Ours are hard as nails. There are reasons it took me 9 years before I was ever able to actually do anything on this. It's a miracle it's gotten as far as it has. Now, I've seen people ask, if the initiative fails, then what's next? I've tried to explain this before. There is no next. What's next was 1.5 years ago with all those other things we've tried. We're at the final phase now. The European Citizens Initiative is our last possible chance to change anything.
And it passed.
See, there are things governments and consumer groups are doing, and then there are things that us, the general public, are doing. After July, I see nothing left for us. So does that mean Stop Killing Games has failed? Well, no, nobody knows yet. We won't know the answer to that for a long time, maybe years. Government moves slowly. The initiative will be what's failed, not everything else.
Yeah, they do.
Without the initiative, we still have about 5 other chances for this to work. We have the consumer agencies in France, Germany, and Australia, and possibly help from the BEUC and the UFC Choisir. Though those are iffier. But all their work is underway. It's out of our hands now. Now, I've heard some say, what if we launch the initiative again? Well, someone else can try that, not me. I tried my absolute damnedest writing off the publicity of the cruise shutdown and barely got halfway.
Mm-hmm.
It took a chunk out of my life with almost nothing to show for it. No way am I going to spearhead something like this again. I saw this as my only shot. I took it to the best of my ability. That wasn't good enough. I have no reason to think that doing it again will be successful. On the contrary, I think it would do far worse. Now that doesn't mean I'm being defeatist. I will continue saying yes to almost any opportunity that emerges until July 31st. I have some skepticism, but I am still available for Stop Killing Games until then. Though remember, you don't have to go through me at all. You just have to send people to the initiative. After that, no, I'm done. In fact, I think some people might be surprised just how done I am after July. It's not that I will have changed my mind on game destruction, it's just that there's nothing left after that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to waste even more of my life on this. I've paid my dues. My income's dropped significantly since I started this because I haven't had time to make more fun videos which people would rather watch. And I don't blame them one bit. So besides being sick of running this thing, I have to make it for lost time.
Hold up, chat. Hold up. Oh, I made pretty good money. I think. I don't know if you monetized it, but...
so I can pay rent. Plus, believe it or not, I want time to actually play games and not just fight to keep them all the time. I'll still do the bare minimum if it helps. For example, Germany's consumer agency contacted me at one point because they wanted more information on the cruise EULA for their investigation. So I assisted with that. That was surprising because I have no authority on that at all, and I would have thought they would have had better sources than me, but yeah, I can do pilot light activity like that if it really helps. Just no more campaigning.
He's
And
so
don't get me
fucking
wrong,
done.
I'm not
He's like, guys, you'll understand. I fucking hate doing this. I hate doing this, but nobody did it. This is your fault. You made me do this.
against people doing more after July. I just think
He's
your
like,
odds
I'm
will be
tired,
horrendous,
guys.
and I don't want to
Tag
dump
me
my
out,
time into
tag me
doomed
out.
causes. If the law on game destruction in the EU and Australia was as locked down as it is in the United States, I never would have even started this campaign. Now, I've said this initiative resulted in almost nothing. Well, we did get a little bit. For me personally, I got the feeling of knowing I did everything I could, so I won't have any more nagging doubts like, oh, if only I had tried harder, I could have saved video games. No, I can close the book on that. So I'll be able to look at myself in the mirror after this. That's a plus for me and anyone else who tried their best. About the only other thing I think the initiative accomplished was we inadvertently saved 2 games. This is hearsay again, but according to an insider at the company, Ubisoft announced offline modes for the Crew 2 and Motorfest
Ooh.
because they were afraid the European Citizens Initiative would pass
Well,
and thought this
Spellbreak-
might kill some of the
Spellbreak
momentum.
came back with a server.
Ironically, I don't think they needed to have bothered.
We should
We
play
were already
Spellbreak.
losing momentum when they announced that because, well, you know why. But not killing games is the whole point of this, and I guarantee you Ubisoft had no end-of-life plans for those games prior to this movement. They were absolutely slated to die. Now, if I could have picked any 2 online games to save, I can't say those would have been my choices, but that is something tangible that the initiative changed. Assuming Ubisoft isn't lying. At the time of this video, they still haven't delivered on it yet. So is that it? Is that all the initiative accomplished? Well, without the signatures, sadly, yes, I think so.
You want to know my take on this whole thing, guys? Like, actually? We should protect games that exist now for the future of humanity. So that the future of humanity can experience, like, the games that we have, I think. Because if we're gonna care about some shit, like fucking pandas, and say, like, we need pandas for the future of humanity, I think that games are far less annoying than pandas. And I think they're far more valuable to humanity than pandas. So if we're going to give a shit about pandas existing, then we should care about games existing. Leaflit 2028.
Now, some people might say, no, we
That's my
didn't
speech. That's my speech, guys.
more than that. We shifted the narrative. So what? My only goal with this was to stop it.
Thanks for the gifts. Oh, this guy's initiative delivers us. It's a subscription. How that is a possibility. We'll see. Star Walkers, though. Thank you so much for the bits. Thank you.
Games from being destroyed. All the talk in the world won't fix that without action. Without the initiative, any victory we get is going to come from one of these 5 paths we opened up. Speaking of which, what should we expect from that? I honestly don't know. I give all of these coin toss odds. I do think it is highly, highly likely Ubisoft is going to get fined for something by more than one agency. Don't take my word for it. German channel WBS Legal thinks the same.
Ooh.
The problem in their eyes is that Ubisoft shut down the crew with only 3 months' notice, and they should have provided more like 2 years. Yeah, hear me now, quote me later. If all that comes from Stop Killing Games is companies in the EU need to give 2 years' notice before they shut down a game, then I will consider it an abject failure. It won't save games. That wasn't our goal. It'll piss off companies. Everybody loses.
Yep.
But that's the risk of making this work under existing law rather than proposing sensible law under the initiative. Fingers crossed the agencies make a better decision than that. Now, since this is a wrap-up video and I don't know what the outcome will be, I might as well present both scenarios. First, if we win and have a clear victory through one of these avenues, oh boy. If I think I have threats and hate mail now, I bet I haven't seen anything yet. I'd like to say whatever happens because of these avenues, we didn't write them and never had any authority here. All we could do was report the problem. The European Citizens Initiative is what was written by the movement, and that's what's failing. Now, for people who want my head over this, I doubt they'll care, but I wanted to point that out. I'll say right now, the transition could be
I see. I get it now.
bumpy. It all depends on how hard the industry fights it.
It is intentionally vague, basically. It's intentionally vague because it's a high-level idea, and then the whole point of it is as a high-level idea to present a problem that the citizens are requesting to be fixed. It would be like saying the roads suck. It's like it doesn't say anything about which specific roads suck. It's just the roads suck. Someone please fix. Roads suck, please fix.
And yes, it's possible it could end some games on death row prematurely. So games that were designed to die could still die, but after that, almost all games would start being protected. Because I know there's some clown that's going to find one example of a game shutting down early.
Thanks for the bits, Swordplay. Thank you so much. Thank you. It says, good on you for watching this entire thing.
And then use that as proof that enforcing the law is bad.
I'm gonna be real though, like watching this didn't really change my opinion on it.
Even though
my opinion, like, at the end is, well, my opinion on Stop Killing Games is literally the same. But I just understand where the hate is coming from for a certain pirate. That's it.
industry was going to kill it anyway. That's the logic I'm expecting. So there could be bumps, but give it 3 to 5 years and it will smooth out, become an industry standard, and then you'll have people who were against it claiming they were for it all along. Hey, remember how there were people speaking out against letting customers refund games before 2014, and they're kind of quiet now? I do. I think it'll be a lot like that. So that's if we win. If we lose, in other words, all 5 of these avenues get shot down, well, then things are going to be almost exactly like they are right now.
Mhm.
Except then there will be no pretending we have consumer rights. If you're a gamer, it will be codified into law that you're a consumer chattel who doesn't deserve to keep what you buy. Or if you're renting, informed of how long you get to rent. So, cool. The games industry brought back one of feudalism's greatest hits. Now, even that reality I consider preferable to what's going on now, because then we at least know we're legally screwed.
That's true.
Besides the obvious, what drove me crazy about this issue and the reason I started this campaign was because in many countries, no laws were ever passed on this. Nobody voted on this. Companies just started taking away your purchases. Nobody stopped them, and it slowly got normalized. It's felt like a coup.
If a game server binary is released, hackers might find patterns or vulnerabilities in the logic more easily in the other live service games of the same company. Music explodes. Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. That's what I was saying earlier, Temp, about that.
So the idea that hundreds of games were being destroyed just because we're letting it happen drove me up the wall. If we're screwed, let's be told that to our faces and not have contradicting laws pretending we have rights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one thing I can promise this campaign will deliver, which is answers. There will be no more frog boiling after this. Either the frog hops out of the pot or it's dead. Now, even if we lose 100%, it's not like I'll change my mind on thinking destroying creative works when people want to save them is wrong. I'll probably drift even farther towards trying to save game worlds, at least. I made a video about this sort of thing. I'm optimistic about technology assisting with being able to extract environments from games and port them in the future. So hopefully we can salvage more from the ashes that are getting burned down in games. So that's Stop Killing Games. If you're depending on me to save the initiative, then I think it's going to fail. Skill issue, as they say. My only closing thoughts on this is that this is all just so stupid. It's stupid that we didn't have clear laws on this to begin with, that this practice continued for decades without clear laws on it, that it was going to continue without our intervention, that it takes so much work and so many people to even report a violation, that me, a chump YouTuber, was the one spearheading this, that it was easily derailed by a bigger YouTuber, convincing gamers that having their games destroyed is a good thing. It's all so stupid. I've heard some people say before that we're on the worst timeline.
Oh boy.
No, things could be so much worse. I think some people have no idea. But if you were to say we're on the dumbest timeline, I don't know if I could argue against that. See ya.
Okay. I mean, pirate saves the initiative by being. That's kind of true. Though. Like it is because I mean, like, again, this didn't really like change much about like kind of like what I thought about the individual like points from what I've seen. Like the actual I guess meat and potatoes of the argument on like both sides didn't really change how I thought about it. Like I'm still for Stop Killing Games. I was before anyway. I just thought that there were some concerns that like game developers like would have, and that, you know, basically like the reason it was vague again is it was a high level decision. It's not really a high level action that is going to require like some more like, you know, it's like some groundwork like as it like kind of fleshes itself out. And it was more like of a like, hey, like look at me, like there's a problem. Thank you for the bits, Black Wolf. And I also do understand, like I kind of get now like why people are mad at the pirate. Like I get it now. I see. I naruhodo like the reasons for it. But again, I still think that like what I said before, that the stuff he said specifically about it being potentially a problem for game developers, I think that part is true. So anyway, didn't change what I thought about the initiative, just changed what I thought about the drama. I changed my mind on the drama, but not on the initiative.